I don't want to be vegan because it rots the brain, it rots your teeth, it makes your hair fall out, it makes you delusional, it makes you susceptible to cult-like behaviors.
That's right. He can't be vegan because it rots the brain. All of you, those of you who are vegan, those of you who eat bacon for breakfast, whoever you are in the audience, I would challenge you to make the time at some point to look at the relationship between cholesterol and brain function. It's really sad, it's really scary, but the truth is having more than 0 cholesterol in your diet impairs brain function.
We all know those people that derive their confidence from being a know-it-all. A-bas-le-ciel. A-bas-le-ciel. I have no idea. I've even tried to look this up to find out what it means, and it's still kind of confusing to me. And it makes it really hard to find his channel, but I'll link it in the description. I've been watching him lately, and he makes a lot of really great points. He's a very smart guy. I think he's been a vegan for getting close to, probably a decade. And to me, I don't know how old he is, maybe in his 40s or something. He looks well. I mean, he looks like his brain is functioning. He looks like he's able to, put on weight and to maintain his health and whatnot. So, yeah, I don't know. Again, does it work for some people? I don't believe it works for all people. That's not even the point of this video. He's usually pretty intellectually honest, though, and this is why I've come to sort of like him, and I like his perspectives on a lot of topics, even when I don't agree with them typically. But with this cholesterol, I don't know if he's being dishonest or if he just really believes this and misspoke, maybe, because he spoke as if having cholesterol in your diet at all impairs brain function. There's mounts of research on this. This is a fact. That's basically what I heard. And before even looking at the research, anyone with common sense knows that this is going to be an association. There is probably limited research, which there is, and that it's going to be in correlation with, maybe LDL is high, HDL is really low, and that's exactly what they found. They found an association. It's the old amyloid plaque thing, that they found a correlation with heart disease for all these years, and now they're saying in elderly patients that they looked at, with dementia and Alzheimer's, they see a correlation there as well. Okay, what does that tell us? That doesn't say anything about the amount of cholesterol in your diet. Some people have high cholesterol and are extremely healthy their whole life. Some people eat loads of meat and, animal foods with cholesterol and do just fine as well. And then some vegans have really shitty low HDL because, and the LDL is fine, right? Because you want that low. But, and their triglycerides are all off, and it's because their body is not functioning. For whatever reason, they're not producing cholesterol at efficient rates because the body regulates that tightly. And that's, has something to do with your intake of cholesterol as well. There's a balance here. By now, he or anyone looking at this surely knows that when we're talking about cholesterol for a marker of health, it's about the balance of these ratios.
He can't be vegan because a vegan diet will rot his brain. I'm not gloating. I'm not glad about it. The sad, scary fact is, if your diet has more than 0 cholesterol, it is impairing your brain function. It's not just the most extreme form of impairment, which is Alzheimer's disease. It's not just when it gets to that point. Long before that, I mean, this is something, it's not a binary. It's not like either you've got AIDS or you don't. Either you've got malaria or you don't. If you have cholesterol in your diet, it is impairing the function of your brain, unless you're in this tiny minority of the population who has a genetic anomaly that makes them immune to dietary cholesterol. There is also a very common genetic anomaly called hypercholesterolemia, and those are people who will have high cholesterol no matter what they eat in their diet, whether they have a vegan diet or not. With that footnote aside, it's a sad, strange irony that Nikocado is telling you that a vegan diet will rot his brain, when, as it just so happens, we know it is a high cholesterol diet like the one he's on that will really impair your brain function.
So maybe he didn't misspeak. He seems pretty damn clear on this. So what we're looking at here is the fat in breast milk. And I love, looking at breast milk as sort of a barometer, because even if we had no studies to look at, even if we knew nothing about human nutrition, we could always go back to breast milk, look at the composition, and say, okay, this is what a human body needs. And you may say, well, a baby is growing rapidly. Okay, sure, yeah, so in different ratios. So I shouldn't have to read this or tell you this. I shouldn't even have to tell a vegan this, that cholesterol is a fatty component important for brain development. And like DHA, cholesterol is crucial in the production of myelin. And they find higher levels of this DHA in breastfed babies. Yet vegans will constantly tell us we don't know, if that means anything. We don't know if that means you're healthier if you have higher levels of DHA in your body. We don't know. They want to reset everything based off of the new human vegan body. Based off of, what their levels look like, what their body composition looks like, what their blood test results look like. That's what the human body, that's what we should base our health off of. So yeah, he's made a breakthrough in, cholesterol research. He's made a breakthrough discovery. We need to alert everyone about this and start removing the cholesterol from mother's breast milk. So we need to do something about this. The human body has screwed this up so bad. We're giving our babies cholesterol. We're impairing their brain function from the time they are born. As a matter of fact, from the time of conception, they're getting cholesterol. This is horrible. But yeah, even vegans understand that cholesterol is extremely important. They just think that they will make the perfect exact amounts, the perfect ratios, when they are eating a whole food, plant-based diet without any cholesterol. And so the problem here is, and I'm not an expert on cholesterol, so I'm not going to get too deep into this, but there are so many intricacies that go into this that it's not just about taking in fat. And it's not just about animal fat. It has a lot to do with plant fats. It has a lot to do with excess carbs, and your body can't utilize it all. It's doing what it can. You're using some for energy, storing some for fat. Insulin's constantly being pumped out. And there's so much more to it. You got your planols causing inflammation. And maybe even an excess of animal fats too. I don't know. I'm not an expert. But your cholesterol is coming in like this little army ready to save the day and then being demonized. Obviously, if it's coming to help, it will be higher in people that are having issues, that have a lot of health issues. Obviously, if they have a crap diet, their ratios of cholesterol aren't going to be on point, and that's not going to be the only issue they have, right? So what we do know is that cholesterol is extremely crucial to the human body. From the time of conception, your entire life. As a matter of fact, it is so important, as it says here, to the brain, that it is generated independently of cholesterol metabolism in the rest of the body and sequestered from the body by the blood-brain barrier. And a large number of studies have confirmed that systemic cholesterol levels do not influence cholesterol in the central nervous system. So maybe that alone debunks what he just said, because the brain is making its own cholesterol. If your dietary metabolism of cholesterol is not making it into the brain at all to begin with, your brain is having to create this cholesterol. This is based off of other factors. Something else is going on in the body. The blood-brain barrier does such an amazing job at keeping things out of the brain. This is why pharmaceutical companies have to sort of deceptively make these drugs that'll just sneak on past to get into the brain. This is why the brain makes its own cholesterol. So if there's amyloid plaques forming in the brain, my gosh, there's something else going on. And it's not the cholesterol coming from another animal. It's the cholesterol your own brain is producing. Something's wrong with that production. Maybe it has nothing to do with the cholesterol production. Maybe you have so much inflammation, even in your brain, that the cholesterol being made by your brain cannot even help that, whether it's too little, too much. So, yeah, that's my video. All I'm saying is that was intellectually dishonest, because there's no scientific evidence that shows the closer to zero cholesterol you intake, the better off your brain function will be. As a matter of fact, it seems to be a lot of the opposite from what we're hearing from the vegan community, the ex-vegans, the deterioration, the low HDL levels, the low DHA levels. So we need studies. We need studies looking at vegans. We need studies looking at this, looking at people who take in zero cholesterol and looking at what their health is like when they're on a whole food plant-based diet.